All right, so now that you've made a call, you need to color code and write in notes about that call. So after each call, you don't want to wait until after a few calls because, believe it or not, some of the information from the first call you may forget. And so after every single call, it's really important that you go through this particular procedure. So the first step is going to be labeling the row in which that individual, that callback is listed, one of these three colors. Green, which means that you scheduled an appointment or that the consumer has mentioned that they've already scheduled an appointment. So you'll see that in going through the callbacks, we have some individuals who are already familiar with ncnavigator.net or have an ongoing relationship with a navigator, and maybe they have already scheduled an appointment. It's okay. It's better that they get more calls than not enough. So you want to go ahead and label that column, that row with that individual's information green. So then if you have to leave a voicemail or the consumer cannot talk right now and wants a call back or needs a call back at a later date because they're at work or, they're having to tend to their children or something right now, that's completely fine. Mark that individual as yellow and they will receive a call back when we go back through the list. And then individuals that you will mark red are individuals where the phone number is no longer available or disconnected. The consumer has enrolled in another type of health insurance. So sometimes we see this with individuals who have in the last year enrolled in Medicare. They were on marketplace coverage between maybe retiring from their job and being eligible for Medicare. Now they're enrolled in Medicare, so they no longer need to be on our callback list. We don't need to harass them because I'm sure that Medicare is calling them plenty. So we want to mark them as red because we want to make sure that we don't call them again, and we don't call them in future years. Also, if someone has an offer of job-based coverage that they've received throughout the year and now they're enrolled in that employer-sponsored coverage, you want to mark that as red. Also, if it's someone that is enrolled in job-based coverage and is interested in exploring their options, you're welcome to schedule an appointment for that individual. But if they say, I have coverage through my job and I'm happy with that coverage, you can remove me from your list. Go ahead and mark them as red, and then that will be fine. And so again, we'll remove those individuals from the list. So then also, in addition to color coding each call, each consumer after each call, the spreadsheet note column is the most important column. Color coding is incredibly important, but the notes column is by far the most important. So this information helps to provide feedback and important details to our staff navigators as well as other volunteers whenever they're going back through the callback list. So again, with every single call, note your full name, date of the call, and the outcome. So I have listed a few examples here for you all to use as a reference point. So if you want to have this slide sort of up on your screen or to the side, or maybe you can print it out at home and have it in front of you, I think this is really helpful. So as you can see, we've got Devin McCoy left a voicemail on 10/15. 10/15, voicemail not set up yet. 10/15, enrolled in Medicare. So these are all the things that you would put in the notes column. Feel free to include more detail than what's listed here if you think that it's pertinent. There's no limit on the amount of information you can provide, but this is just kind of a concise, short form version of the information that would be helpful and that we would need in order to go back through the callback list and sort of know which ones need to be called back. Which individuals, the busy signals and things like that need to be removed from the callback list. So these are just examples. If you aren't sure after a call with a consumer, if you aren't sure what notes to write in the column, or there's a more complicated issue, or there's something else going on, feel free to reach out to Devin. And you can ask him about kind of what to do and what information that individual needs. and we're here to answer any questions that you have. We understand that these examples are not all of the examples that could present themselves whenever you're making these callback lists, or sorry, whenever you're making these callbacks, but these are primarily the situations that you'll see. But again, we're available for questions, so feel free to reach out if you have any questions when you're going through that.